1912 Temple, Texas. Nearly 7 years after the death of James B. Simmons, Ada Virginia Hawkins was born to Lee and Stella Hawkins into the hill country of central Texas. Emerging from another small corner of the world, her life would carry on the same spirit the Simmons left behind, one of Christ's love breaking down barriers. Her upbringing consisted of spending time with family, attending church, and reading books. School came easy, but there was never an early interest for the sciences, nor did she give college much thought.
Virginia grew up in a very loving and close-knit family in Temple. She graduated from high school there and then went into Temple Junior College for 1 year before coming to Hardin-Simmons. And she didn't know what she wanted to be. She was very good in school. She was an excellent student, but didn't have any kind of career in mind. She said, in fact, that you just did what was in front of you. You didn't really think about what your career was going to be. She never thought about a medical career.
Like Simmons, Virginia had a similar decision to make at age 16 following her high school graduation, and she too would choose to further her education. 1 year after attending Temple Junior College, her uncle, Dr. William Riley Snow, who wanted all of his nieces and nephews to earn degrees, reached out to Virginia's parents about living in Abilene and attending Simmons University.
I imagine that when my Uncle Will said, "Please let us take Virginia. She has high marks, she can really be something, and I want to put her through Hardin-Simmons," that my grandmother was just heartbroken. But my grandmother felt like it was the best thing to do for Mother. It turned out to be the greatest gift that she could have given.
And Dr. Snow was the one who saw the potential in Virginia to become a doctor.
And so it was. Virginia and her cousin went to live with her aunt and uncle in Abilene. During this time, she learned about becoming more than who she was, and those around her pushed her to be better, like her Aunt May, who was always warning her to be reading a book. To this day, she has been an avid reader as well as an encourager of reading by giving away books to others.
When I was 4, lying in bed at night, she had this metal light that hooked on the back of the headboard, and I knew when she pulled that string that we were going to read. And I'd go run and snuggle up to her, and she would read to me, and then I would have to read to her. And then she would read to me, and then I would stumble through some more words. And that's how I remember beginning to read with Mother.
I have a bookcase full of books she's given me. And probably the one I treasure the most is The Sacrament of the Present Moment. And that's how she lived in the moment. In fact, she wrote me a note one time. She said, "Every trip, every tour, every effort, I wonder if it will be my last." I get emotional. Only God knows. But it will be enough. For some people, it's never enough. But for Virginia, the gift of a new day was enough and an opportunity to serve.
Her family, both kin and college, equipped her to overcome future trials, the likes of which attacked her early and often as a woman pursuing the medical field. In those days, that was unheard of by most people, but Virginia had never been in the field of most people. 1933, New Orleans, Louisiana. Within months of graduating from Simmons University, Virginia moved out of state for the first time and started medical school at LSU. Her path was headed towards adversity from the onset.
When we decided that I would write a biography of her and I learned more and more about her, I found out what all she went through in medical school in the 1930s and when women were not readily accepted in medical schools. In fact, there was a great deal of opposition. She was one of 3 women in her class at the LSU School of Medicine. She started in 1933, and there was a great deal of resistance to the 3 of them from the male students and from the professors as well. And they had to endure a lot of harassment, no encouragement at all. In fact, if there was encouragement, it was for them to quit and just to leave.
One day, a medical professor cornered Virginia and the 2 other female students in the elevator. He assured them that only one of them was going to graduate. That same professor harassed and embarrassed the women in front of the class by having them recite certain information or perform specific examinations. All 3 women went on to graduate and become physicians. These moments of resistance riddled her medical school experience and carried over to her career, but they never defined her character. She just pressed on.
How she managed to fight her way through medical school, it's amazing to me that she just stepped up and did what was necessary.
Returning to Abilene in 1940, Virginia began her private practice and earned the respect of her community, receiving many distinguished awards from the Taylor County Medical Society, the Texas Medical Association, and Hardin-Simmons University.
Dr. Connally got the Distinguished Service Award back when I was president of the Texas Medical Association. A much-deserved award for all the things that she's accomplished for medicine and for the patients of Texas. And her legacy will be one of a model physician, what a physician should be with her concentration on the physician-patient relationship.
Dr. Connally's heart for missions started in her family's home as a child, continued to grow with a degree in medicine, and flourished with her husband Ed. Her passion for serving and helping others never faded, but rather increased over time.
In the 60s, Mother went on a trip to Russia, and she took a suitcase of Bibles, unbeknownst to me. And while she was there, she was able to distribute them. And when she got back, the suitcase was completely empty. And I said, Mother, you could have been jailed. And she said, never crossed my mind.
Her life's work has seen and done much, spanning over a century, but her legacy will span eternity through the people she transformed, who will go on to transform others.
You bump into so many people, she put glasses on or she took out their tonsils. But what she did is, I think she treated the person in a way where their ears could hear the gospel, their eyes could see the needs of others. And that's how Virginia went around doing life, seeing the needs of other people.
From strangers to friends to patients and beyond, Virginia Connally's barrier-breaking knows no bounds, no borders, no barricades too far, too wide, too high, for the love of Christ.